Welcome back to another edition of Fly Tying with Jim Misiura. Today we're going to tie a LivelyLegz fly. This is my design, but everything is going to be coming from LivelyLegz. The hook that I have in the vise is a LivelyLegz lip splitter. This is a 475 size 16. They have little micro barbs on there. 1 extra strong, 3 extra long. I like the extra long ones when you're putting a bead on it. And the bead that's on there is a LivelyLegz. This is a down and dirty tungsten bead, 2.4 millimeter, metallic coffee. It has a really nice color. If you can see that color pretty good there. It's a really nice color there. And the legs I'm going to use on it, of course, LivelyLegz. Size extra small for size 16 rust colored legs. And there they are. I'm going to use some, actually some Hemingway thread. But this is a darker brown. Since this is a tungsten bead, I'm not going to add any weight. And this fly, I'm kind of design it in the style of a Higa with a skinny abdomen and a fatter thorax. So what we're going to start out by putting a base of thread down. Just going to go a little ways. And now I'm going to tie the rib in. The rib is an extra fine copper wire. And we'll take that back to where the tail will start. Just about where the thread hangs at the barb. Now for the tail, I'm going to use, this is Coachman brown. We're going to use Coachman brown hackle barbels for the tail. What you want to do is kind of stand them up in a 90 degree and get all the hackles lined up. And then you pull them all off at once. And I know how long this is, but the tail we want to be about 2/3 to the whole length of the body. And this was a little bit longer. I misjudged there. So I'm going to have that tail about the length of the body up to the bead. We'll tie that in. And that will nicely all get wrapped down. Now I'm at the front. I'm going to put the legs on. And the legs, of course, this is the front. The ones that are almost 90 degree are the front legs. And I'm going to cut them off, cut off that front tab. You can see that front tab is longer. I'm going to cut it off just about almost to the length of the front legs. And that's also going to give you a distance you want the legs from the head. And you cut it at the same spot every time, you'll have a more consistent proportions on your flies. I keep those legs a little bit towards you as you're going, as you're putting them in, because you can see right there on that back leg it rolled right to the top. And then now I'm going behind the second set and kind of, don't pull too hard that you break your thread, but get them down there tight. If you don't, you're going to have problems with them rolling. Now that third set this is too long, so I'm going to cut that third set off. And I actually save that piece because I tie in these single legs when I'm tying flies for myself. Now, for the abdomen, here I have, this is a kind of a rust colored bootlace. Here is the bootlace. You can see it was a yellow and that rust color brown, and then you take it apart and you get, you know, if they're 72 inches long, you get lots and lots and lots of it. But anyway, I'm going to take it and wet it, just because that helps you to control it. Otherwise, if it's very dry, it'll like separate, just like kind of like floss is. In fact, you could probably use a brownish or rust colored floss. This is, I'm calling this a Mahogany ready to hatch Nymph. We'll bring that back to that tail, and then I'm going to bring my thread up in front of the second set of legs. Now I can wind that. One of the nice things about using this shoelace or floss, if you're going to use floss, is you can make a tapered body pretty nicely by going back and forth with it. And when you get to the legs, you know, you want to figure 8 them. You want to make sure that you get the bottom part of the leg covered and the top part of the leg covered. I kind of had a bump there, so I'm going to go back. And I cut a couple fibers on the hook barb. I'll just burn them off. And we're going to bring that thread back to the front. Be careful, because you can wrap down a leg and mess up the leg easily. I'm going to tie that off there. Just going to give it a few wraps, make sure it's secured. Then we can remove this, and you can see what it looks like when it gets dry. That's what I mean about by separating and stuff. And then the other end, you'll actually pull some out of the other end. But if you keep it wet, you can see how it looks when it's wet. Now for our wing case, mayflies, when they get ready to hatch, if you turn over a lot of rocks, you'll see rocks, and you'll see their wing case is really, really dark. So what we're going to use is, this is another Bootlace, but it's a darker one. But before I do that, I think I might want to wrap my rib. And just go ahead and wrap this. I'm counter wrapping it. This just gives a little bit more security to the thread. I'm going to come up between the legs on that one. It's just like 3 to 4 wraps. Fold it over and go over it. And there we have our rib locked in. You can see the rib better when I turn it. Now I'm going to take that dark brown Bootlace, and it's almost black, their wing cases. When they're about to split their wing cases open to hatch, they turn really dark. And again, with this, I'm going to wet it again. Got some long strays there, and even when you wet it, it makes it a little easier to cut it. Tie that in there. Oop, watch those legs. I'm just kind of trying to build up a little bit more of a thread base there. Just kind of try to get that evened out there a little. Now for our thorax, I'm actually going to use a lighter color. I'm going to use Chestnut, and this is a rabbit blend Chestnut. Now when you make a thorax and you're using the LivelyLegz, especially the smaller ones, you don't want to make that thorax too fat, because you'll make it fatter than the legs are long. Usually just make a nice skinny noodle. especially on the end of your noodle where you're going to be coming in front of the front legs. You don't want it too fat. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this. So make it pretty decent behind that first between them. Moving that leg. It's a little bit too much. I'm going to remove just a little bit. That bottom is the important part. You don't need to use rabbit blend, but I use that for the color. Then we'll take our wing case and we're going to fold that over. And the reason I use a lighter color is when you turn rocks over, they're usually two-tone. One color on top, darker on top, and lighter on the bottom with the mayflies. Then we're going to remove that. I'm going to put just a little bit of, make a really skinny noodle to finish this off here. And this is a really skinny one, just to kind of hide any imperfections I might have on there. A little bit I needed to get on the bottom there. I had a little bit of the bottom exposed. Then we can go ahead and take the whip finish now. If you want to make that thorax a little bit bulkier, you can go ahead and take your dubbing teaser and tease that out a little bit. Not much. Like I said, you don't really want to hide those legs, because the LivelyLegz is the not the key, but it's a very good feature to fly. And there is the, I'm going to emerge any minute wing case. I'm going to put a little bit of head cement on there. Actually going to put a little bit on the wing case and just get that down to the bead and let that soak in. And here we have a mahogany ready to hatch mayfly nymph. Hope that you learned something from this video. Hope that you would subscribe to my channel. Please refer me to your friends. Please visit my sponsors. Leave comments, questions, suggestions, and most of all, thank you very much for watching my videos.